Welcome to the Chapter Showcase Training and Development Program session. In this session, we have Chrysanthos Raharjo, Vice President Education, PMI Indonesia Chapter, and Sharon Height, General Manager, PMI New Zealand Chapter, with us to share more about their chapter's study groups. The speakers will be taking questions in the session. Please do feel free to use the chat box to send in your questions. Happy learning!
Hello, Sharon and Chris.
Hi, Singing. Hi, everyone.
Hello, singing. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining the session. So we'll start off with Chris to share more about Indonesia's chapters training and development program. So we'll hand over the stage to Chris.
Okay, thank you, singing. Let me share my screen first, yeah. Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining this session. I'm currently sharing my screen, and please do speak up if you couldn't see my screen. Now, as per introduction by Singying, I'm Chris from PMI Indonesia chapter. And for the next 10 minutes, I'll bring you to one of the most recognized and successful certification program from our chapter, which is study group. And later on, for the next later 10 minutes, I will be brought by Sharon. Now, let me continue with the next one. The study group program has been around for almost 10 years now. It started back in 2012 and with only very small group of people. Actually, even only one mentor and one mentees or participants. We usually call the one who guide for the study group mentor and also for the participants are mentees. Now, the sole intention of the program was only to increase the number of PMP certified Indonesia. Back in 2011 and 2011, the numbers of PMP certified Indonesia are very low. Actually, only around 300 and 400 people compared to the size of our populations, actually 250 million. And the number of PMI Indonesia chapter member is even lower, which is only half of it, which is only around 150 at that time. And even the chapter board member only around 15 people. Now, please bear in mind that in 2010, actually, our chapter already like 14 years old we established in 1996 actually. Now, back to the study group program. Apparently, during the first 2-3 years, the study group program is actually brings like a blessing in disguise for Indonesia chapter itself. Because, well, even now, if I may say though, actually, because we receive not just the increased numbers of the PMP certified professional, but bring most a lot more benefits to us though, actually, because like I said, the intention was just to increase the PMPs, but again, we receive much more compared to that. Now, the two notable benefits are actually, first one is the big pool of volunteers coming from the study group. Now, the number of volunteers that want to join the chapter board member actually has gone triple or even quadruple compared to the 2010 and 2011. Currently, PMA in the chapters have more than 50 volunteers actually spread into 3 cities. No, 4 cities actually: Jakarta, Bandung, Yogyakarta, and Surabaya. And even more, we have a lot more board members coming from also from the study groups. Every time we do call for volunteers by year's ends, we have long queues actually, and some of the volunteers who applied comes from the study group, including me actually, because I also one of the results from the study group back in 2013, and after 8 years, I'm still with PMI in the chapter of volunteering. Now, the second benefits actually increase the number of PMI Indonesia chapter membership. Along with the other program for our membership team, study group has also becomes a steady supply for new chapter membership. At one time, even almost reached 900 members in 2018, comparing to the one that 9 years back we only have like 150 something. So what we did actually, we actually made the study group event is actually solely for member only event. So we didn't open it for public. So if in order to join the study group, you must become the PMI Indonesia chapter member. If not, we cannot give you any access to the materials or even to the access to the mentors. Now, as for the mentees or the participants, they receive even much more benefits. First, obviously, they pass the certifications, the PMP certifications at the time, and with flying colors, if I may say, though, many participants got the above targets as part of the results. And what we more appreciate, actually, they really understood the content of the PMBOK. They not just skim or just try to copy the answers, then just do the got away with the PMP certificates, but they really do understand the contents though. Now the second, the benefits that they receive is actually networking. The mentor and the mentees come from different industry backgrounds, such as oil and gas, constructions, telecom, finance, logistics, and many more, even coming from the SMCG though. This gives many different point of view when assessing the topics in PMBOK, and everyone can share and get to know each others. Even looking, some may say like another job to hop to actually. That's the benefit of the networking from the study group. Now, the third, fourth, and fifth benefit is more for them to do giving back to the community and also receive the appreciations. Now, I'll tell you more about this in the subsequent slide. Now, during the past 10 years, actually, the study group has not without ups and downs, actually. So we face many challenges, and I picked three main challenges that occurs along those 10 years and what we have learned to tackle those challenges. The first challenge is actually the lack of mentors motivations. The mentor is the main key that keeps our study group alive, and they are also volunteers like us, like the board members, like the BODs. So we don't pay any cents actually for them. So even we don't pay any like a specified tutor or lecture to come to our study group and to give out some lectures on PMBOK or the contents of the chapters. So we really don't pay anything to them. And at first, during the first, second, third study group, it was fine because due to the mentor is also part of the board member, but due to the increase of the number of passing mentees since 2012 even until now, it becomes hard to engage them. So we create a mentor engagement program and mentor appreciation program. Because I mean, like me, I also joined the mentors, and it's been 8 years. And even for me to just even if you have a will to share and to come, but sometimes it's like there are many difficulties just to join or to see whether the participants are really willing to, I mean, to spend the same energy like you being the mentor, because all of us are volunteers. Now, our study group has a motto. In Indonesia, lulus tidak lulus kembali study group. Or you can translate it like pass or not pass your certifications, then you are always welcome to come to study group, either as a mentor or a mentee again. Now, every year we also conducted like a mentor gathering. So where we have event like workshop or seminar to upgrade their knowledge. So similar like topics in project management or like the upgrade of the PMBOK. We started like in PMBOK 4, 5, 6. Now even we're going to have PMBOK 7 now, right? Now, and even more, not just workshop and seminar, we also to engage the mentor. We also invite them to like have a like joint sessions or like a together adventure outdoor adventures with the board members or the chapters, because again in the basic line in the best line that all of us are volunteers, but they're more volunteers just for to being a mentor. Now with this engagement program, we really hope that they keep the energy to share and also stay active in the study group. Now, For the mentor appreciation program, there are many actually that we give them. One of the most notable things that we give them actually a president awards coming from the chapter president itself for best mentor. So every year we pick one from two study groups that happen in every year in that year. Then based on the input coming from the mentees, coming from the committees, then we give them and announce them in one of our also usually on anniversary event, the President Award. And the rest also we give them like for each of the study group like a best three mentors in each study group, or even if you attended more than three sessions within one season, then we give them like three videos for sharing their knowledge with the mentees. Now, this is the first challenge that we have, though. Now, the second challenge is actually more to the commitment of the mentees actually or the participant. Like I said, because at first usually this is like a trend for every seasons that we have in our study group. So at first usually there are so many people wants to register with the study group. Even at one time we have a peak like 70 or 80 participants joining in with the study groups, and the mentor itself like 30 people. So we have like 100 people in the room. We have to separate the rooms now. But the trend when you always, because we usually have like one chapter 1 week, so we have like a whole 13 weeks for one seasons though actually. Now during the in progress with, I mean, the fifth year, the fifth week, 6, 7, 8, the trend is going down. Sometimes like 50 participant, we only left like 30 or 20 or something. Not, but not never below 20. But still, I mean, it's a alarming number if you get like 50 in the at the front and usually at 20. And we realized actually at first that all the participants actually doesn't have any real commitment. They just want to try to join the study group and see what is uh, what is uh, what is the study group and what it feels like. So we don't want to waste our mentors' effort, because, like I said, they are also volunteers like us. So we really want to appreciate them. So we make all the mentees and participants to be sure that they have to be eligible. So this is a last line, because sometimes people would argue, hey, I still didn't get any payment coming from my office, or I don't have the money left, I don't have any credit cards, that kind of problem. So if we encounter of those kind of the reasons, then we usually reject them to join the study group, even though they are already a PMI Indonesia chapter member. We ask them, hey, you need to be eligible and you need to prove us your eligibility ID, then you can join the session. And you usually give them like 3 weeks a trial, and after 3 weeks we filter out everyone that still hasn't gotten any eligibility ID. That, and even that we still have more people not taking exams by the end of the seasons of the study group season. So that's why we force them. Usually after the complete seasons, we have like a small study groups for each mentors, because we usually pair, or even not just pair, one mentee with three mentors. So we really make sure that they really understand and able to pass the certifications. Now the engagements coming from the mentees or the participants, if anyone pass the PMP certifications, or they got the certifications, we usually ask them to have like testimonials within the chapters. So just to make everybody feel have the same energy and encourage them to pass the certifications though. And usually it works. And sometimes during the events, as when we still have offline, we have like some people bring Jcos, Dunkin' Donuts, or pizzas, or anything, just to celebrate, just a small things, but at least it makes everybody combine. Now the last challenge is actually in terms of the mentoring methods. Now some of the mentors wants to have like more like our uh, active passive, where the mentor talks and the student or the mentees listen. This is not working well for us, because uh, in order to have the eligibility, you have to have the the prerequisites, right, which is the 35 hours, not the 35 hours. You have need to have the experience, also need to have the classrooms PDUs, not the PDUs, not the hours to be able to be eligible, right? Now, since they already have those lectures, or they have their own class classroom, or even they have their own private online study, we don't want to have repeat the same thing, just like telling them what to remember and what to do with their questions. So mostly what we do is actually like an active engagement. So each mentor need to prepare like 2 or 3 questions. So if we have like 15 mentors in the classroom, then we have like 45 questions already. So for the whole for each session, we have like 3 hours usually. Sometimes it goes like 5 hours, but usually it takes 3 hours. Then we have the whole 50 questions goes out, and the mentees need to participate actively to answer. If they cannot answer, then they need to go back. But it is a mandatory for them to read the book. Now, with all that, actually, we have received so many things though, actually. After almost 10 years, if I'm not mistaken, well, 10 years will be by next year. You can see that in 2021, we have already like 18 seasons of study group. At minimum, we have a group, but it's not enough anymore. But we have more than 300, even I think reaching 400 people already pass the PMP certifications for now, and the participations for each of the sessions of the study groups actually more than 600 people. Even I would say we have like around 800 already registered though. Now, with this, actually, this is a big achievement, because now the numbers of PMP certifications are more than 1,000 in Indonesia, and even the chapter membership, it goes around, probably now is around 800s. And during the pandemic, we don't stop our study group at all, and we adapt with the conditions, and we do it in online. And even more, not just the PMP certifications, we also add one more certifications to for our study group, which is the PMI SCP, which we started actually this semester. So currently we are on currently running parallel for PMP and PMI SCP. Hopefully by next year or the following year, we'll have an either RMPs or SP study group to join in also. I think that's it from me for the time. Sharon, you can continue from your end. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And good evening, everyone from Auckland, New Zealand, where it's just after 6:30 on Friday evening. So we are looking forward to celebrating with you before the weekend. We have a very similar tradition with the New Zealand chapter of study groups. And we have traditionally combined the PMP certification with the CAPM certification in our study groups. And we've had some challenges over the last year. One of the other things that makes the New Zealand chapter a little bit different to many chapters is that we are one chapter covering the whole country, and then we have 9 regional branches. So the aim of the branches is to make events like study groups more accessible to people living in the regions. But what that has meant for our study groups is that it takes a lot more resource in terms of the number of volunteers to hold 9 different study groups, 9 different venues, and 9 different groups of people. Last year, as many of you will know, we also saw changes to the PMP exam, so the content was significantly different, and there were requirements really to go through an authorized training provider or ATP to access the new material. And of course, we also were dealing with the uncertainty of COVID restrictions of having events. So as a chapter, we decided, or what we also observed was a lot of people would join PMI solely to get their PMP qualification. Now, the PMP qualification usually requires at least 3 years experience. So they're already well into their project management career. So with all the changes going on this year, we decided to focus a little bit more on the new entrants to the project management career and focus on the CAPM qualification specifically. And we wanted to build some relationships with the tertiary institutions and encourage student membership, where of course the students can access all the PMI resources globally at very low cost. So they are becoming well exposed to the concepts of project management. And then the goal was for them to get their CAPM exam, or the entry-level qualification, is, soon after their graduation, and follow that on with mentoring, with the idea that PMI is really visible and useful in their career progression, not just something you join to get your PMP many years later. So one of the things that we found by focusing on the CAPM qualification, and also we moved it to online because of the COVID restrictions of holding in-person events. It was much easier to coordinate one event nationally than 9 in-person events. We found that we only needed 1 or 2 volunteers per group. Our groups, very similar to what Chris was describing, would run for 13 weeks. And the CAPM exam is still based on PMBOK 6, and it's very much based on each chapter and understanding the inputs and outputs for each of those project management skills. So the study group involves the attendees preparing to present 1 chapter each week. And so they would usually be 2 or 3 of them collaborating on their presentation. We set up a Teams channel for them so they could message each other. We could store all of the resources on the Teams channel. We had weekly quizzes to help them with their preparation, and they were able to upload their presentations each week as an additional resource to help them prepare for their exams. So what we found is similar to Chris. The study groups are available only for PMI members. It's really important, if you are joining the chapter, that there are benefits for members. And one of the benefits for the PMI membership is that, of course, you can download PMBOK 6 directly from the PMI website as your study guide at no cost. So it did help us increase our chapter members. Many of the attendees joined the chapter specifically to do their study group. And we felt that increased the visibility, that PMI is seen to be a professional body that's really beneficial for people wanting to progress as project managers in their careers, and we're assisting them early in their careers. As I said before, it significantly reduced the number of volunteers we needed to run these courses. So it will be more sustainable for us to run a number of these in the future. And the really interesting thing that we also found, which you mentioned, Chris, also, was traditionally in the in-person courses, we would also have a number of attendees dropping off the course or not attending after a period of time. We've found with the online course, we have had 0 drop-offs, and everyone is attending regularly. And the level of their preparation and their slides has been much better than we anticipated. The Teams channel has been really good, as I said, as a way to store all the resources. It's a closed channel just for those members, and we don't record the sessions. So we wanted, because they are presenting as learners, we don't want them to feel uncomfortable that that's going to be publicly available. It's a closed group just for them to attend. There is a low cost, and they have to register via our website. But again, we felt that if they are entry-level practitioners and often just finishing as a student, their income is quite low. So our chapter felt that it was quite important to have a low cost or no cost option to help people become certified in the project management profession. The networking that they gained also by an online event, they're networking with practitioners around the country, and similar to Chris's experience, from a variety of different industries, construction, IT, a whole range. So they're well on the way to connecting with other project managers. So if you could progress to the next slide, please, Chris. So the key learning for us was a focus on entry-level qualifications is really helpful in people understanding the benefits of joining PMI in the community and the support that you can get early on in your profession. And actually it works better online because of the much lower resource required in terms of the number of volunteers, and it was much cheaper to operate as well, and overwhelmingly a much lower withdrawal rate. We would have more than half sometimes of the attendees of an in-person event withdraw over the period of that 13 weeks, whereas online we've had 100% continuing, as I said before. So I know we're running short of time, so I will sort of wrap that up and hand over back to you, Xing Ying, because you may want to have some questions. But hopefully this has been a helpful session, and we would certainly encourage you, if you're thinking about your certifications, to join a study group. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Chris and Sharon. So it's a very insightful presentation, and I'm sure everyone learned more about the study groups that chapters has offered in their local communities. So we have a question, a very straightforward question. How can I join this group? I think it's referring to how can one person be like a mentee of this study group. So maybe Chris, you can go first.
Okay, thank you, Singing. So if you are going to join as a mentee, then there is the two requirements that you need to fulfill, which is first need to be the chapter membership. So if you want, we have the events online. So if you even you are abroad but willing to join, then we can always have you in our study group. And the second one, you need to be eligible. The eligibility, like I said in my presentations, actually is just a form of commitment that as a mentees or participants, you are really willing to go through with the certifications. To pass the exam, not just like follow 5 weeks, then drop the sessions, because like I said, the mentor is also volunteers. We don't pay them, so they don't have any obligations to stay there and coach you in or mentor you to pass the exam. So. And if you want to be the mentor, then the qualification is only one. You need to have the PMP certifications or the PMI SCP certifications, and also the membership. Though actually, we also request the mentors to be a part of the membership of the chapter. That's all from me thinking.
Mm-hmm. How about for New Zealand?
Yes, very similar. We just had a meeting today actually to decide the next date for the next group. Will start in February. I believe the 21st of February. So it will be listed on our website very shortly. It's very simple. As with Chris, you need to also be a chapter member, and then you can register to attend via our website, pmi.org.nz.
So to follow up on this question, does the chapter member has to be like located in Indonesia or like New Zealand to be able to take part, or they can be anyone like anywhere in Asia Pacific to join in, or maybe in another part of the world?
we learn a lot from pandemic, so we can actually virtually access anything anywhere. So that's why we had the past 2 years like virtual events for our study group, so everybody can join from anywhere as long as they comply with the requirements that we have.
Same with us. You might want to consider the time difference depending on if you want to join another chapter. So we have found our ones work better in the evening so that people can attend after work. So the time is usually from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. in New Zealand time. So if that works for you, wherever you are, you're more than welcome to join us.
Yes, I think it sounds a great program for maybe people outside of Indonesia, and New Zealand can also consider joining chapter so that you can leverage on the study group. And I think we have come to the end of the session. So thank you, Chris and Sharon, for your time and sharing the program with us. And for the audience, we have a closing session. So do head over there, and we will see you over there and have some administrative details for you to take note of. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Singing, and thank you
Bye.
everyone for attending the session.
Thank you, Singing. Bye, Chris.
Bye, Sharon.